Okay, so we've got a mountain of info here about becoming a commercial director.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm guessing that maybe you are thinking about a career change, or maybe you're just interested in what this whole business rock star thing is all about.
Yeah, it's a pretty intriguing role when you think about it.
It is,
Yeah.
and thankfully, we have this treasure map from RoleCatcher
Yes,
to guide us.
absolutely.
They're a career development platform, and they
Mm.
have this guide all about becoming a commercial director.
Yeah, they seem to be a pretty comprehensive resource for anybody who's serious about this as a career.
Okay, so let's just say I am totally clueless.
Huh.
I don't know anything about business, really.
Hmm.
What does a commercial director actually do?
So, in a nutshell, you are the revenue generator for a company.
Okay.
You're the one who's responsible for bringing in the money. You set targets, but then more importantly, you strategize and you execute the plans to reach those targets.
So it's more than just setting the targets.
Oh, yeah.
What does that actually look like?
Well, it's really about analyzing market trends.
Knowing what's hot, what's not, being able to identify gaps in the market. Like,
Sure.
why hasn't anyone created this yet?
Being ahead of the curve.
Exactly.
Right.
And then shaping the products or services that a company actually offers.
So you're not just selling things, you're influencing what is being sold.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
You have a lot of input.
So RoleCatcher also mentions planning sales efforts. So that's where the actual selling part comes in, right?
Yeah, in a way, yes. But again, you're thinking big picture here. You're not necessarily making the individual sales calls.
Okay.
You're designing the overarching sales strategies. You need to know your target audience inside and out.
Okay.
What are their needs? What are their motivations? Even their pain points.
It's almost like being a psychologist and a marketer all at the same time.
I like that, yeah.
Hey.
Right, that's very true.
Okay, so we've covered revenue, we've covered product development, we've covered sales strategies, but RoleCatcher really keeps emphasizing the strategic thinking aspect.
Yes.
So could you tell me a little bit more about that? Yeah, so picture a giant chessboard, right?
Uh-huh.
Each piece represents a different aspect of the business.
Oh.
Your competitors, market trends, customer behaviors, even internal resources. As the commercial director, you are the grandmaster.
Okay.
You need to anticipate moves, you have to strategize and make decisions that are not only going to win the current game, but set you up for future success as well.
So you're playing like 3D chess with the market.
Exactly.
Wow.
It requires analytical thinking. You're crunching numbers, you're interpreting data, and then you have to take all that and extract actionable insights from it. But you also need a creative spark to connect those seemingly disparate dots and come up with innovative solutions.
So it's that left brain, right brain.
Absolutely.
I get it.
It's that perfect blend.
Really interesting combination.
And then we can't forget about the human element here.
Right, because you're working with people.
Exactly. You're building relationships with your team, with your clients, with stakeholders.
But we are going to have to take a quick break. But when we come back, we will uncover the must-have skills of a commercial director. And trust me, some of these might surprise you. All right, so we're back. And we know that commercial directors need to be strategic thinkers. But what about the actual skills? What are we talking about here?
Well, this is where RoleCatcher throws in a little bit of a curveball.
Okay.
Because they highlight a skill called social perceptiveness.
Social perceptiveness.
Yeah.
That sounds more like something I would need for going to a party or something.
You'd be surprised.
Okay.
But it's really all about understanding those customer motivations,
Right.
reading between the lines, picking up on those nonverbal cues.
Body language.
Exactly. And sensing what's really driving a client's decision.
So it's not just about the numbers. It's about connecting with people on a human level.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then let's not forget about persuasion.
Okay.
You need to be a master of influence.
Right. You got to get people on board with your ideas.
Yeah. Yes, you have to articulate your vision, you have to inspire your team, and you have to sway stakeholders to buy into your ideas.
It's a lot.
It is.
But there's a fine line,
Yeah.
right? Because you don't want to be manipulative.
No, you don't want to be manipulative. You want to authentically convey the value of your vision.
Okay. So we're talking about social intelligence, persuasion, analytical thinking.
Mm-hmm.
How does somebody even begin to develop all of these different skills?
Right.
Are commercial directors born or are they made?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It really is.
I think that while some people might naturally gravitate towards this type of work, a lot of these skills can be honed through experience and through focused learning.
Okay, so you're saying there's hope for those of us who, maybe aren't natural-born business leaders.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that's where understanding the typical career path can be very helpful.
Okay, so walk me through this.
All right, so RoleCatcher lays out a pretty clear progression here, starting with entry-level roles like a commercial assistant.
Okay, so you're starting at the ground floor. You're learning how everything works.
You're learning the ropes, you're providing support to senior team members, and you're gaining exposure to the different facets of the business.
And then from there,
You might move into a role like a commercial analyst.
which I'm guessing has something to do with data.
Yes. Lots and lots of data.
Okay.
This is where you're really flexing those analytical muscles.
Okay.
You're doing market research, you're identifying trends, and you're pinpointing those lucrative business opportunities.
And then all of that feeds into creating those strategies.
Exactly. It all ties together.
Okay, cool.
And then the next stepping stone after that might be a sales manager role.
Okay.
And this is where you're starting to lead a team. You're developing those targeted sales strategies, and you're really building relationships with clients.
So it's a more hands-on leadership role.
Exactly.
Right.
And each stage builds on the previous one. You're facing more complex challenges,
Right.
more responsibility.
So you're constantly learning and growing.
Yes, you're accumulating that knowledge, you're honing those skills, and you're proving that you're ready for that commercial director position.
It's like climbing a mountain.
It is.
Each step is,
Yeah.
difficult, but you can see everything.
And you get a better view every time.
Yes, exactly. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's talk about what it actually takes to land that dream job. When we come back, we'll delve into the interview process, those make or break moments that can determine your commercial destiny. Okay, so we've scaled the mountain of skills. We've navigated this treacherous career path. And now it is time for the final boss level.
The interview.
The interview, yes. So what does RoleCatcher have to say about how we can really nail this crucial stage?
Well, they actually give some really good advice here. They go beyond those generic interview tips that you hear all the time.
Okay.
They actually provide real-life questions that are asked of aspiring commercial directors.
It's like they have a cheat sheet or something.
Yeah.
So what kind of questions are we talking about here?
Well, one example is, can you describe a time when you had to make a difficult business decision?
Okay.
And it's not about having a perfect track record.
Right.
It's about showing how you think under pressure.
So they're looking to see your problem-solving process,
Exactly.
how you weigh different factors, how you make those really tough decisions,
Exactly.
especially when you don't have all the information.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense. What else do they ask?
Another one is, how do you stay up to date with industry trends?
Okay.
And this is important because it goes beyond, just reading an industry magazine every now and then.
Yeah, you can't just read a blog post and be like, okay, I'm good.
Right, exactly.
You have to really be immersed in it.
Yes.
So are we talking about going to conferences or?
Conferences, yeah. Networking events, webinars, just really immersing yourself in the industry, being involved in thought leadership.
So you really have to show that you're going above and beyond.
Exactly.
You're not just, keeping up. You're trying to be ahead of the curve. It seems like RoleCatcher itself could be a really good tool for this kind of thing
I would agree with that.
because they have all of those different resources.
Yes, they offer career guides, skill assessments, interview prep.
It's like a one-stop shop for career development.
Exactly.
And it is interesting because they do mention their platform a lot throughout this whole guide.
They do.
And it kind of feels like they're saying like, hey, we've given you all this information now, use our platform
Yep.
and go get that job.
Right. And, we're not here to endorse any particular platform,
Right.
but I think it's pretty clear that having the right resources is incredibly valuable.
Oh, definitely. Especially in such a competitive job market.
Absolutely.
And not only that, but, the job market is changing so quickly with AI, with automation.
It's true.
It's not even just about who you know anymore. It's about how you navigate this, really tech-driven world.
Yeah, and RoleCatcher does touch on that. They talk about the increasing role of AI in recruitment, which is really fascinating to think that, an algorithm could be screening your resume or even conducting an interview.
Wow.
It's very sci-fi.
It really is. Okay, well, I think that is a whole other deep dive.
Another time, perhaps.
Yes, exactly. Another time. Okay, so to wrap things up for our aspiring commercial directors out there, what is the key takeaway from this deep dive?
I would say embrace the challenge.
Okay.
This is a very demanding role. There's no doubt about that.
Right.
But the rewards are really amazing,
Okay.
both personally and professionally.
Yeah.
It's about strategy. It's about people. And it's about making a real, tangible impact on a company's success.
And it's about, becoming that leader.
Exactly.
Taking charge of your own career path.
You are the conductor of your own orchestra.
I love that.
Leading with vision and
Yes.
making beautiful revenue-generating music.
That is a great way to put it. So for anyone out there listening who's feeling inspired, just remember that becoming a commercial director takes a lot of dedication. You have to have that strategic mind. And I think most importantly, you really have to have a lot of heart.
That's a good point. You have to be passionate about it.
Exactly. But as we've learned today, it is definitely a journey worth taking.
I think so too.
Well, on that note, I think we'll wrap up this deep dive. Until next time, keep those ambitions high
Yes.
and your strategies even higher.
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening.